Over the past 8 hours, there was tension between Yoonjin and Jungkook. Ever since Yoonjin found out that Junghoon and Yoo went missing, Yoonjin is screaming orders over the phone and throwing stuff at Jungkook. How the hell did this happen? He asked, looking at Jungkook as he walked into the office where Jungkook was alone. Jungkook lifted his head to look at him. I don't know, he said with a heavy sigh, rubbing hands over his face. You don't know? He asked, looking at Jungkook, anger and fury evident on his face and in his voice. Shit, he screamed as he flipped the coffee table next to him. Jungkook jumped off of the chair he was sitting on and got closer to him. Calm down, he said as he put a hand on Yoonjin's shoulder, but he pushed it away and turned towards Jungkook. Calm down? You want me to calm down? Do you even try to find them? Do you know through what the hell she has been her whole life? And you don't give a flying fuck. He started yelling at Jungkook, but Jungkook was done with his shit. Enough. Don't you dare finish that sentence. He hissed at Hyunjin. Don't you dare to say that sentence ever again, he said as he was poking Hyunjin's chest with his finger. You think that I didn't give a fuck about her? Well, I fucking do. Ever since she started to work for me, we got closer and closer. I shared the bed with her. On that, Jungkook's face turned red in anger but continued. And before you say anything, no, we didn't fuck. We simply sleep in the same bed. Over the past months, I got to know her better, not just what she is showing us to see, but also the real her. I know about her parents. I know through what kind of shit she went. She went through, so don't you dare tell me that I don't know her. Jungkook stopped himself, taking deep breath and letting Yoonjin absorb what he said. I fell in love with YN, Jungkook said as he looked at Yoonjin in his eyes, seeing his face morphing into shock. I fell hard, and if that is not telling you how much I want her by my side safe and sound, that don't forget that my son is kidnapped also. He is with her. He is with a woman over which I am beating my head thinking, should I let her in my life and would she be a good mother to him? So don't you dare tell me that I'm not trying to find them. They both became my everything. No, they are my life and I don't know how I would live without them. Jungkook said and stepped back away from Yoonjin, scared that he's gonna do something that he would regret later. Jungkook looked at the floor, trying to calm his racked breathing and a racing heart when arms wrapped around him and Yoonjin pulled him into a brotherly hug. I'm sorry, I didn't know, he whispered as he patted Jungkook's back, pulling away slightly. We are going to find them, both, he added with a serious face and determination in his eyes and voice, causing Jungkook to nod at him. It's been 2 days since you and Junghoon are gone. Well, 50 hours if you want precisely. That's how long Jungkook didn't rest. That's how long Yoonjin, Lino, Alex and Mark are with Jungkook in his fucking office. Ever since Jungkook spilled his soul to Yoonjin, he was quiet. He didn't start any shit with Jungkook. He keeps to himself. Over the past 50 hours, they checked every damn location that Jungsun owns and they still didn't find anything about you or Junghoon. Okay, think, Lino said, catching their attention. Last time when they did something like this, they kept Alina close to us, but yet at the same time for enough for us not to look at the place, he said, and then it hits Jungkook. He quickly started to pat his pockets, not finding what he was searching for. Jungkook turned around looking. Did anyone see my phone? Jungkook asked and Mark nodded towards Jungkook's desk. Jungkook strode towards his phone and took it from his desk. Turning it on, walked back to the guys. Look, Jungkook said as he put the phone on the table around which they were standing, showing them messages from that day when Junghoon and you were kidnapped. They looked at the screen, then at Jungkook. It says, so near and yet so far. On Russian, we got that message along with a picture when they kidnapped them. Yoonjin ran his hand through his hair. You tried to track the phone number? He asked and Alex nodded. Yeah, we tried to track it, but it was no use. It led nowhere, Alex said with an exhausted look on his face. It's just like the last time, Lino muttered under his breath and Mark put his hand on Lino's shoulder, giving it a squeeze of reassurance. Jungkook took a deep breath while nodding. However much this is hard to say, but I think the same. He is holding them close to us, but yet far enough for us to not find them. Where would you hide something close but yet far enough so that person you are hiding it from doesn't find it? Asked Mark, looking at them. Under his nose, said Alex, then snapped his head up, looking at them with wide eyes. I think that I know where they are, maybe, he said and runs to the computer. So you guys checked every warehouse that they own, right? He asked, searching for something on his computer. Yeah, and every one of them ended up being clean. It seems like they moved away from there. They were way too clean, Yunjin said. You checked their estate here? Yeah, clean also. No one has lived there ever since that attack years ago. Mark answered while looking at Jungkook. Jungkook took a harsh breath at the look he shot Jungkook and nodded his way. Maybe that actually was our fault, but then again, we were just stupid kids, he thought. Did you check the abandoned houses around here? Alex asked once again. Yeah, we searched for them on the first day already. Nothing was there. Lino said, getting annoyed. What did you mean that you know where they are if you are asking us about places that we were already searched at? He added. Well, you all looked at all those places that have their activities going around, right? He said, and Jungkook frowned a little while nodding his head, not understanding where this conversation is leading. Well, he wanted to hide something from you, somewhere where you wouldn't look, but at the same time it's under your nose. So in his place, I would hide them in some place which you own. For example, some of our old warehouses or some places under your name, which you don't visit that much, he explained to them. He has a point, said Yunjin. I would do the same. Okay, but where? Lino jumped in, asking the question they all wanted an answer to. Well, we have a couple of places like this, but most of them are in Italy. So the closest to us here is. He started but stopped, connecting the TV screen to the computer and turning towards the map of the big screen. Okay, here are more than I thought would be. So we have two old warehouses and he started pointing towards Yunjin. Your old house that you put on fire trying to make a lunch, he said with an amusing look in his eyes. Lino snickered at that but quickly gathered himself after he got back handed on the back of his head by Mark. This is our last hope. Gather the men, we are going immediately, Jungkook said as he stood up and went upstairs to his room. Entering the room, his first reaction was to look towards the crib where you would usually be looking over Junghoon. His heart wanted to jump out of his body, and he suppressed a shiver as he thought about what those fuckers do to you. Jungkook could feel his throat get tighter, and it was hard to swallow a lump that was forming in it by thinking about it. I'm going to find you and bring you back, my love. I will bring both of you back. Taking a long breath, Jungkook straightened and took clean clothes. Getting in the bathroom, after much needed cold shower, he went downstairs to join the guys. Okay, so we have 3 locations and only 20 hours before all hell break loose, said Alex and pointed at the map. So on the south side we have a warehouse that was attacked 12 years ago by Jackson right before they took Elena, he said, looking at Mark and Matthew, seeing their faces harden. Not far from that, we have Eunjin's old house. I'm not sure how much we stayed from there and where would they hide them there, but it's worth trying, he said as he pointed towards the house on the map. And lastly, we have a warehouse at the north that was destroyed by an explosion that happened while your father was still in charge here, said Alex, pointing at it on the map. Okay, we don't have time to get on all sides together. It's best if we go in groups to check all those places, Mark exclaimed, looking at the map, and Jungkook nodded. Yeah, I think the same. He agreed with it. Okay, let's try this. Jihan, take 2 teams. Jihan, take 2 teams with you and go check your old house, Jungkook said and looked at him, seeing him nodding. Mark, you and Matthew too, take 2 teams and go to that old warehouse that Jackson attacked all these years ago. You know that territory is the best of all of us, Jungkook said, and he saw Mark tense but nodded anyway. I'm gonna go to the warehouse on the north side. I will also take 2 teams. Jungkook said and straightened his back, looking at them. Okay, now all settled. Let's go. Okay, but Jungkook, be safe. That warehouse was attacked 20 years ago. It's in bad shape. Watch how you walk over there. The floor probably isn't really stabilized in past years. And besides, you know how bad the attack was, Alex said, looking Jungkook in eyes, confusing him to send him a curt nod. They all went to exit the room when Jungkook called Yoonjin. He turned around. He turned around facing Jungkook and raised his questioning brow. When you finish searching, join them at that warehouse. It's big with a lot of places to hide. Remember, it's a do or die situation, Jungkook said, and everyone nodded. I want Wine and Jungkook safe and sound. Got it? Yes, boss. Jungkook nodded and turned around before leaving, and everyone followed him behind.